Is there a reason why everything started going wrong on the internet yesterday? Irrelevant news! So Steve Will Do It and David Dobrik had been beefing over the last few months, with mostly Steve Will Do It making some very disparaging remarks about David. That is, until they met face to face.
A Tesla. Get the out of here!
Oh, would you look at that, folks? Steve Will Do It is putting all that gambling commission that the Nelk is making off of their fans to good use by getting David Dobrik, a guy who literally already has 2 Teslas, a 3rd Tesla.
You got the X, you got the 3. I want you to have a Model Y. And also, this guy's drunk inside. Oh my God.
At the end of the day, it's extremely comforting to see that even though a lot of YouTubers talk shit online, they have absolutely no backbone. And in other news, Trisha Paytas shared their thoughts about their most recent cancellation.
Now, I'm all for taking accountability, specifically for my actions, but like the fact that I'm getting blamed for stuff that happened before me, that happened during, is so crazy, and it makes me feel crazy. It makes me feel crazy.
Pretty sure that even though Moses and some of Trisha's family, including their mom, was getting exposed just a few weeks ago, the majority of what people were looking at were things that Trisha had actually done. So it's kind of confusing to hear Trisha say that they were only getting blamed for stuff that other people had done.
There was a podcast clip that was, I'll just say it, from the H3 that called me a freaking... They did a soundbite that said "shut up, bitch" or something, and they eliminated it from the original video that Ethan put out about me, but they put it out again, and in that moment I felt so angry.
I mean, Trisha's totally justified in feeling angry about it. They can feel however they want about things. Just a little unsure whether it's worthy to start World War III over it.
I was like, wow, this is so disgusting. How do they think they're not doing anything wrong? They're egging this on. And I thought, you know what? If I engage back, which I'm sort of doing now, I'm breaking my own rule. One, I'm no better, because as far as I'm concerned, if I'm trash down here, they're right there with me, egging me on.
Oh no, folks, Trisha is breaking their rule to not engage in drama. What are they gonna do? They broke it yesterday too when they made that super shady video about Gabby Hanna. Some rules are made to be broken, I guess.
And you're still talking about me. I was just like, oh, it did make me angry, but I had to disengage. Obviously, I'm not titling this video that. I think that's gross, to title it that when you're like, oh, I'm not talking to this person, whatever.
Little known fact, folks, not putting someone's name in the title completely exonerates the creator from whatever they may say about the person that they talk about in the video. That's why in the future, all of my titles will only be the words "go off," "exposed," and "what the hell were they thinking?" Because at the end of the day, everybody knows that accountability can be whatever you want. That's not the biggest feud on the internet currently, folks, because Moist Critical and Nikocado Avocado have been trading videos for the past couple of days. It all started when Moist Critical made a video with some very light criticisms about how Nikocado Avocado is being basically enabled by his audience into binge eating junk food for a living, and how it's having a negative effect on his health. And this is how Nikocado responded.
Fiddlesticks! Who is this? Who is this person? Who are you?
Nikocado is so committed to his bit, folks, that he's literally forgotten how to look down a quarter of an inch on the screen in order to see a channel name.
This person thought it would be cute to sit down on the computer and talk about my weight and my appearances and to fixate on how I look, as if I don't have the right to exist because I happen to be a little overweight.
Now, even though Nikocado posted this yesterday, a lot has happened since, and to be honest with you, I think it was pretty obvious off the bat that nobody was going to take Nick's response seriously because of just how outlandish and outrageous he was trying to be with everything. He basically defaulted to his bit of just being really bothered by the smallest things, which really makes it hard to take anything that he's going to say seriously in this video.
I'm going to sit down and I'm going to address all of this. I stay in my lane. I don't pick on other YouTubers. I don't make content off of other people like that.
It's really interesting to see just how Nick is capable of navigating through a video with literally next to zero self-awareness, because Nick is the type of person who has literally profited tremendous amounts from making videos about other people. He's made videos about Trisha Paytas, about James Charles, about Veronica Wang, about everybody. Literally every single person who's ever been in a scandal. Nikocado has thrown his 2 cents in there, sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. It's part of what he's done to help grow his YouTube channel. So for him to basically try to rewrite his own history on the internet when there's literal video evidence in the titles and in the content that he's put out is absolutely fucking hilarious.
First of all, this whole disabled, this is wrong type of thing, there's such thing that's called temporarily disabled. My father was temporarily disabled for 5 years. My brother was temporarily disabled when he had surgery.
You know, it's kind of hard to have a conversation with Nikocado Avocado because you never know if he's purposely missing the point or if he's just misconstruing it to victimize himself, but it's very obvious that it is offensive for somebody to misuse a disability or a title where they claim to be disabled so they can get sympathy. But I think that the issue that was brought up by Moist Critical is that the only reason why Nikocado is in a position where he can claim to be disabled in the title of his videos is because of the lifestyle that's been enabled by his subscribers, where he has to eat copious amounts of food, which is literally causing his body to potentially break down.
Am I making fun of people who are born that way or develop a condition? It's irrelevant whether you have it for a year or 10 years or you're born that way or you grow into that in old age. At the end of the day, I'm no longer able to do things that I had been once able or could or should have been able to do.
And I think that's the exact point that everybody's trying to make, that the reason why Nikocado is no longer able to do the things that he was able to do, say, 3 or 4 years ago, is because of the massive growth of his YouTube channel, which in turn caused him to completely change his body into something that has been making his life a little more difficult.
If I was a woman, you would not be doing this to me. Let's take that in the comments. Would you say that to especially if she was pretty or popular or people liked her? Would you do that? She's herself.
I hate to be that person, but people do this all the time with Eugenia Cooney. She's just at the opposite end of the spectrum than what Nicocado's in.
Does he not finish his plate? He usually finishes it or gets very close to it.
Oh, really? So 1 out of 10, 1 out of 8 pizzas is close for you.
Now, I don't know if Nicocado's trying to be funny right now, folks, or if he's just straight up delusional, but trying to justify that he didn't eat that much by saying he ate 1 whole pizza out of 8 in 1 hour-long sitting is not the point that he thinks he's making. Anyway, folks, Moist Critical responded the next day to Nikocado Avocado.
I'd like to say congratulations to Nick. It looks like his broken ribs are healing pretty well because he starts this video by stomping into the room. And I also checked his TikTok. He's been going kind of hard, so it looks like his broken ribs seem to be doing better now.
It's something I've been noticing about Nick, not only in this video, but in several other of Nick's videos. He's been very chipper for somebody with broken ribs. I mean, I mentioned in another video where I was covering Nick breaking his ribs, where I actually bruised some of my own ribs falling off of a skateboard a few years ago, and just bruising my ribs took about a month to heal, and it was one of the most painful things I've ever experienced in my entire life. When you break a rib, the potential for collateral damage in your chest area is just tremendous. I mean, you could puncture a lung at the worst. You could just puncture your skin at the worst, you know? So the healing process for a broken rib is just very delicate. It takes a while because of the way that the bones are shaped. It's not that easy to be jumping around and doing comedy bits while stomping your feet in your room. Now, I don't want to say that Nikocado is completely clear. I'm not a doctor. I can't really diagnose him. It's just very unusual just how absolutely chipper he is, especially considering it's been about a week and a half since he hurt his ribs.
In his response video, he said I was completely lying and that his broken ribs had nothing to do with weight gain, which surprised me because I actually got that information from one of his recent videos. I'll just go ahead and play you the clip.
And before you make fun of me, please try to put yourself in my shoes. I cracked my ribs. Bitch. Fuck this fucking air sack from coughing excessively for over 2.5 months and my obesity, all 350 pounds of force.
What's that word again? He's exposed.
I completely sincerely apologize for overlooking the fact that I need to remind people how to behave online. I always hate, absolutely fucking hate. I've made 2 different videos on how much I hate when people go and harass people, but just from like YouTube videos and shit. It sucks. It fucking sucks. 100%. And Nick is absolutely in the right in calling that out.
Well, would you look at that? They're working things out already.
I'm not Nick's dad. I'm not here to slap the fucking cheeseburgers out of his hand or anything. I showed these photos because it shows a complete transformation from one body type to another, and it shows that there is still an eating disorder present. And I feel like it's reinforced by his audience on YouTube that encourage it, which is something he mentions in his videos from time to time.
I agree. I mean, a lot of people have made similar points to that, including myself, when you think about the fact that Nick is literally being rewarded by his audience to continue eating copious amounts of food, junk food, every single day. And the more junk food he shows, the more junk food he eats, the more his audience likes his videos and keeps watching. And that goes without saying. Just about a year ago, Nikocado had an entire series on his channel where he was literally challenging himself to reach 300 pounds. So he leans into that whole thing.
If Nikocado Avocado did not find success on YouTube and be known for eating such massive meals, he would not have gained the 200 pounds in 3 or so years. Gaining that much weight in that amount of time is not healthy by anyone's standards, no matter what doctor or what website you check.
Wait a damn minute, folks. I don't think we're ready to have this conversation yet, okay? Nikocado cannot have that money that's pumping into his veins stop.
This machine that he's had in every thumbnail for like the last 2 weeks, he says he's actually had this since he was a kid and it's nothing new, unrelated to mukbangs and all that. Okay, fair enough. Let's say that's true. Maybe it is. It probably is. I don't see why he'd lie about it. But then why all of a sudden now are you putting it so prominently in every thumbnail and every title talking about being disabled and doing a disabled mukbang? Why are you just now showing this off then?
Wait, don't ask too many questions, Charlie. You're gonna get in the way of his grift. I mean, if he really has to start just taking accountability for the fact that he is destroying himself for clout and money, then what the hell is he going to have left?
It leads your viewers to believe that the situation's a lot more dire than it is, and you're doing it on purpose. You're trying to garner more sympathy out of the situation by having this machine here. It makes it seem like your health is on a really rapid decline, and I think the reason you're doing that is to get more views on it, because when people see that you're in distress, they want to see what's going on and want to make sure everything's okay.
I mean, he's absolutely right. And if you look at Nicocado's channel titled More Nikocado, where he posts videos daily, you can see that Nicocado's views were down considerably until he started posting that he broke his ribs. And the rest is history. Well, maybe not just yet, folks, because guess what? As I was filming this video, Nikocado responded again.
Hi everyone, it's me. We're gonna be making a response video to Penguins who made a video about me. Again, I'm furious. So if you want to hear a nice rant, stay, get a little comfy. And I'm really upset.
Now, right off the bat, first big observation is Nick is extremely defensive. This time, he doesn't seem to be hiding behind his character anymore. But the thing is, folks, that the more defensive he seems, the more it seems like Charlie hit a nerve, which obviously he did, because Nick is putting out these videos to basically defend his lifestyle of eating this much food in order to make money.
Do you realize how serious this is, everybody? He said that I was myself. He said that I was myself. This is disgusting.
The language that Moist Critical used to describe what Nikocado is doing may be a little inflammatory, but honestly, folks, I don't see any other way to describe it. I mean, you just look at where Nikocado was, where he's at, the way that he keeps talking about having these health issues constantly, the way that he keeps basically exploiting and doubling down on his own weight gain and seemingly pushing himself further up the scale. Conventional wisdom would lead one to believe that the ending to this story is not going to be necessarily a good one.
Gee, it didn't occur to you to pin a comment to say to people, don't leave. Gee, it didn't occur to you to make a little note, a little flag that pops up, a banner, to edit something in, to edit something out, to put something in the description box. Don't send this you lazy narcissistic piece of shit.
We saw it. Moist Critical apologized in a new video and even rebuked his own audience for the messages he sent Nikocado. I don't know if pinning a comment in the description in a video that already has almost 5 million views would actually have the same effect as a fresh video that is going to get as many, if not more, views. I mean, everybody who saw that video won't see the comment in the description. The new video is going to get the same audience, if not more, which will have exposure to the message that Nikocado wants them to have. Honestly, I feel like Moist Critical discussing it with his audience in his second video is way more effective than the pinned comment, but then again, this isn't my decision to make.
And you know what's strange to me? That we have this grown-ass man sitting in his gaming room, making videos about other grown-ass men and their choices.
Yeah, this is a bad take. Everybody's allowed to have opinions, especially on the internet. And if you're going to post stuff on the internet where literally everybody's going to have access to it, people are going to have opinions about it. He just has a bigger platform, so more people listen to his opinions about things. You can't just cry because you're literally getting called out for something that you're clearly very insecure about. And it really does seem like it touches a nerve. I mean, Nick can hide behind his humor as much as he wants. I totally understand that. I do the same thing. It's so much easier to deal with things through jokes. But at the end of the day, it does really seem like this is getting to him. And like he knows that what is being said about him is in fact the truth. He knows that he is literally placing himself in a dangerous situation. Otherwise, he wouldn't care so much about this criticism. He wouldn't even respond to it.
If you're concerned, you send me an email. You write to me. You DM me. You write to my network. You write to my sponsors. You write to my manager. You reach out in a personal way if you're really concerned. You profited off of this.
If anything, this conversation is very appropriate to have publicly. I mean, Nick is posting all of his videos publicly. It is part of the reason that is enabling him to continue this lifestyle and going down this road. This conversation almost has to happen publicly because of the nature of the public's involvement in Nick getting to the point where he's at. Now, that being said, the fact that this conversation is appropriate to have publicly, it shouldn't stop someone from sending an email if they feel that concerned about a situation. If they feel so inclined to do it, which at the end of the day, it's their own prerogative.
First you say that I have an eating disorder clearly, that I have no control over this, that this is something that, it's a situation that needs to be dealt with. And then on the same breath, in the same video, you say, well, he's only doing this for views. Your actual wordage was, at the end of the video, you said, well, I believe if there wasn't YouTube involved and he wasn't a successful YouTuber, he wouldn't have eaten this way. He wouldn't have gotten fat.
I think Nick is missing the big point that Moist Critical is making here, that the financial gain he is receiving from these habits that he's been indulging in is what is enabling him to go down this path. I mean, anything can enable a mental illness. Not that we're diagnosing anything or saying that what Moist Critical said is right, but I'm just looking at it from that lens that he is truly being enabled to do something destructive to his body by his audience, regardless if he does have an ED or not.
If what I was doing was not a problem to society at large, why make a video and post it on a public forum, public website for the intention of all of society to see?
Because you are literally being enabled by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to continue going down a path that is being destructive to your existence. That is why this conversation should be had in the public square, because it's the relationship between the creator and the public that's supporting him that is causing this whole situation to exist. And now, palate cleanser.